Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell denying any wrongdoing over his ties to an alleged Chinese spy, even accusing Republicans and the president of setting him up.
Yep, payback. And it's not the first time a Democrat has used this excuse when caught in a controversy. Here to break it all down is Charlie Hurt, Fox News contributor. Charlie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So were that does... Before we get started, he's talking about payback. Nancy Pelosi got caught in September going through that salon, no mask. The whole world was wearing a mask except her. But then again, she was set up by that salon owner. Watch this.
When they said, well, we're able to accommodate people one person at a time and that we can set up that time, I trusted that. As it turns out, it was a setup.
It was a setup. And Matt Gaetz is the target of this because he was a critic of the president.
Eric Swalwell.
Yeah, well, it's important to remember that Eric Swalwell is actually a hero. He is bearing the slings and arrows of his enemies in order to bring justice to Washington. No, the hypocrisy is astonishing. It's enough to choke a mule. But I've discovered that the real way to listen to Democrats in Washington and to watch them is whatever it is that they're saying, whatever it is they're accusing their enemies of doing, they themselves are doing. And Eric Swalwell is the perfect example of that. A guy on the Intel Committee has spent the past 4 years leveling the most ridiculous, outrageous, zaniest conspiracy theories about the president and Russia. All the while, he's canoodling with a Chinese spy who's bundling campaign cash for him. It is absolutely astonishing. And as kind of ridiculous and funny as it all is, it's also very, very serious. And I have a question about this. All this time that Swalwell was canoodling with a Chinese spy and getting her to raise money for him, Swalwell was talking about the dangers of Russia and focusing all of our attention on Russia.
Where'd that come from?
Was that an effort to keep people from talking about China, which is absolutely eating our lunch today?
Yeah, right. Everything that they were accusing the president of, or Republicans of doing, it seems like they were doing it as, and the Republicans weren't even charged with it. So, but he says he's innocent. He said he didn't know that she was reportedly a Chinese spy. But what's interesting about this is her dad and her brother, as of yesterday, were friends with her still on Facebook. This all happened in 2015. So clearly they were very close-knit. My question is, what did she know? How did this affect the laws in our country? What did China know now? And what does this mean for the United States of America?
Absolutely. And as of right now, obviously, we don't know. But those are very important questions. And what you really realize here is that when this whole thing started, Eric Swalwell was a two-bit politician in the nether regions of San Francisco. The question is, if they're targeting him, how many other people are actual important people are they targeting?
They don't have background checks for them.
And the funny thing is, right, and then Swalwell gets to Washington, he's been targeted, and what does Nancy Pelosi say? She says, oh, let's put him on an Intel committee. We are, whatever it is that China, whatever designs China has on us, we are falling into every single one of their traps. And we're doing it with eyes wide open with people like Nancy Pelosi making decisions like this. And then, of course, Eric Swalwell doing. And then let's also not forget the FBI here, because, the really scary thing here is, look at the difference between the way the FBI handled this with Swalwell and the way the FBI handled questions they had with President Trump. It's truly terrifying.
By the way, no one else is covering this. That's why everyone should watch us all the time. MSNBC didn't think this was newsworthy. CNN had him on the air, so they had a few minutes there where he gave a ridiculous explanation. ABC, NBC, and CBS forgot to cover it. But I look at what Rick Grinnell said last night, former director of national intelligence, knowing he can't give away the story. He said this: Eric Swalwell did exactly what the Chinese wanted. We need to figure that out. Are there others? And I can tell you, without giving away too much intelligence, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
When it comes to the leverage that China is putting on our politicians, there is many, many more. Now think about that. His replacement, John Radcliffe, had something where he wrote an editorial last week, said this is a 5-alarm fire. So this is so much bigger than a small congressman from California who has an inflated opinion of himself. This is much bigger. And we got to stop playing intramural politics and start understanding what China's doing to us. Final thought, Charlie?
And think about it's not just politicians. China, with all their efforts to infiltrate all of American society, they're spying on a million times as many people as we now realize.
All right, Charlie Hurt, thank you.